Holy moly, we are live. If you're asking what kind of day it was and night it was, I have the same clothes on that I had on yesterday. So draw your own conclusions. I had a different jacket on. If you need more evidence, this is what I was eating. Sausage McMuffin with egg. I gotta be honest, McDonald's. That's delicious. Iced coffee. Okay. Thank you for joining. We are going to talk debate and lots of it. And what the hell happened, right? What went wrong? More importantly, what do Democrats do next? I mean, okay, so let's just jump right into it. If you haven't seen my videos on this, check them out. I think they're pretty good. I hope. I keep having trouble with this comment about toggle bar. Hold on, let me see if I can bring this up. All right. Okay, there's the bar. Okay, let's get it going here. Sorry, I'm trying to get to the top of the comments. There we go. Will that work? Okay, sorry, folks. This is a little snafu. It will work. Don't worry. I am just okay. Okay. All right, here we go, people. Okay, I got it. God, that was more of a pain in the butt than I expected. Sorry. Okay. Here we go. John C. Chris, whoa. Bar was set low in last night's debate, but that was wild. Seeing John King say there is Dem panic is not good. What would it look like if Biden steps down? Do Democrats have any shot to win? No, it was not good. It was disastrously bad. Like there's no way you could watch that. Let me adjust the camera a little bit. There's no way you could watch that and think like, okay, sure, Biden. Just no way. It was really, really, really bad. I think I just saw before I came on, I saw a tweet or an X or whatever the hell we're calling it, saying that some fundraisers are pulling out of this event for Biden tonight. That's a sign, right? If big donors start calling on Biden to resign, and if elected officials, major elected officials start calling on Biden to resign or step down or not be the nominee, not resign his presidency, but not be the nominee, those are the signs that the pressure is growing on him. Right now, I saw an interview with Hakeem Jeffries. He said no, the House Minority Leader, he said no, Biden shouldn't resign. I saw Steny Hoyer, another former member of leadership, say no, he shouldn't step down. So right now the line is holding. But big donors and prominent elected officials, that's what to keep an eye on. Do Dems have a shot to win? Yes, definitely. Look, we're still a very divided country. Last night did not help their cause. I am now convinced that Joe Biden is not the best nominee against Donald Trump. But that said, I do think people may be acting as though this is like easier to do than it is. Like replacing a nominee is not easy. You got to get Biden to step down. Like there's no real other way to do it. And I don't think he wants to. I think he's doing an event today. Like, I don't think he wants to step down. I think he wants to stay in. Excuse me. I think Joe Biden, his wife wants him to stay in. So it's tough. You can't just move the puzzle pieces around, right? Like these are people and they have like views and he likes being president and he doesn't want to give it up. But yes, look, the convention isn't until August. They certainly could nominate someone else at the convention if Biden did step aside or if the delegates revolted and didn't vote for Biden. So yes, it's doable. It's just not easy. Let's see. I'm just going through in the order that these came in. Here's You Snooze, You News. The DNC selected a corpse to run against Trump, and the corpse is still more likable than Hillary. Pocket Watch. Have you gotten over the shock from last night's debate? I haven't. Don't know what I expected, but it wasn't that. Yeah. So I will admit, I did not think Biden was capable of that poor of a performance. I have said publicly many times, I've written many times that he's clearly slower in his movements, in his speech, in his thought. I've said that over and over and over again. Did I think that he would be like that? No, because the only other major sort of data point we had was from the State of the Union speech, and he was totally fine in that. I thought he was actually pretty good. I thought he was robust and with it. But again, reading a speech from a teleprompter, even a high profile speech, is different than being in a 90-minute debate where you don't know the questions. You got to think on your feet. You got to remember stuff. I didn't think he could be that bad. And so, no, I am genuinely shocked at how bad he was. And again, I've said all along that I thought he lost a step, that I thought his age was a real and legitimate issue, that I thought they were hiding him at some level. But I still didn't expect it to be that bad. Yeah. Craig Skeptic. Fun question. So since you were in California, did you get up at 3 a.m. California time to watch the live feed of the morning news programs? I did not. I got up at 5 a.m. because I had to do TV. But yeah, so I've been up for a while, folks. That's why, hence the Sasha's McMuffin with egg. Let's see. Mark Mirzajewski. The debate was interesting. Trump was railing against Biden for Biden inheriting the mess that Trump left him. Let that sink in for a moment. Yeah, no. Look, Trump lied all the time last night. And I'm not going to detail them here, but like, go to any fact-checking website. I mean, he told a million things that aren't true. And he says all these things in the campaign trail too. Like Nancy Pelosi rejected his call for 10,000 troops in National Guard troops on January 6th, that we have the greatest economy ever, that he's going to end the Russia-Ukraine war before he even gets in office. I mean, these things are ridiculous, right? Israel and Palestine, like, these things are all ridiculous. At the same time, all of that was overshadowed by Biden, right? Like, Trump was Trump. I'm not suggesting that's a good thing, but Trump was Trump, right? He said and did basically what he says and does in the campaign trail. I read all his speeches. I go through them. If you follow me on my Substack, which I hope you do, my newsletter, just go to Chris Cillizza, that's CILLIZZA.substack.com, or just type my name and Substack into Google. You'll see I go through all these transcripts. So it was all of his old material. He's using the same material. The problem was Biden was so bad that it overshadowed all of that. Let's see. Sam, hey, Chris, I have a question comment. What the F was that last night? Yeah. Sam, you're not alone. Again, it was, I'm trying not to be too hyperbolic, but it was the worst performance in a setting like that with the stakes as high as they are with that many eyeballs on it that I've ever witnessed. It will go down in history. In terms of bad debate performances. I saw some people this morning, or it was morning for me, saying, well, Obama did bad in the 2012 debate against Romney, and Bush did bad in the 2004 first debate against Kerry. I watched both of those debates live, same way I did last night. Bush and Obama were a little rusty. They didn't like being challenged because they had been president for 4 years. It was nothing like what we saw last night. Nothing. Joe Biden wasn't rusty. He looked totally out of it. He couldn't find words. He was just saying random things. He was trying to stuff 10 pounds of facts into a 3.5-pound bag. That is not an apt comparison in my mind. Rusty is one thing. That was not rusty that we were seeing last night. And that was not a cold that we were seeing last night. I've had a cold before, right? I didn't act like that. Okay. Phil, John C. It has been a while since a nominee was chosen at the convention, 1952, Adlai Stevenson. See West Wing season 6 finale. Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. My guess would be if they were trying to replace Biden, if he stepped down, they would try to do it before the convention. They don't really want a convention fight. That's not the visuals they're looking for, particularly given that the convention is mid-August, which is, kind of late. They would want a nominee soon, right? They would want this all to happen soon, they being the Democrats. So, yeah. Let's see. Nostalgic American. I had trouble sleeping yesterday after that. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was bad. If you're a Democrat, so here's the thing. If you're a Democrat, I get that you'd be disappointed. You should be furious. I wrote about this in my newsletter this morning. You should be furious because the truth is the Biden people knew, right? They at least knew that it was a possibility. Now, they might have thought it was a very unlikely possibility, but they knew it was a possibility that he could go out and deliver a performance like that. They knew that he had lost a step or 2 or 3. They knew he was slower. And yet, what did they do? Excuse me. They spent the last 6-8 months shaming every reporter, every Democrat who spoke up, that his age was an issue, his health was an issue, that he was not who he was 4 years ago. They insisted that was a media creation. Look at the comment section of my newsletter. All these people trying to shame me for writing about Joe Biden's age. He's 81, people. He's the oldest president ever. Like, It's an issue. And then last night, so you should be furious if you're a Democrat, because they knew and they let that happen. And they let it get to this point where it's going to be really hard to replace Joe Biden. Not impossible. It can happen, but it's a lot harder now than it would have been 6 months ago. A lot harder. Yeah. Okay. Keith Rutherham. If Dems want us to believe that Trump really is a threat to the country, now is the time to do something about it. And almost any other candidate would do better. Yeah. So, Keith, that's a really important point, I think. By the way, thank you for the donations coming in. I promise I will get to them. I really appreciate it. You're paying for these copies, so thank you for that. I promise I will get to you, and thank you. I'm having trouble with the comments, so I'm just like scrolling through in the order that they were asked. So thank you for everyone who's donating. Keith, I think that's a really important point. If the stakes are as high as Democrats say they are, if democracy is at stake, right, that if Trump wins, we are headed towards a dictatorship, which I don't really believe, but that's the stakes. That's how Democrats have cast this. Then how can you let Joe Biden, knowing what you know about Joe Biden, how can you let him be the nominee if he could deliver, if it was even possible that he could go out there and deliver performance like he did last night, right? Because if the stakes are so high, then why would you make such a giant risk like that? It doesn't make sense, right? If the stakes are so high, you want to cut down your risk, not raise it. And yet that's what they did. So I totally agree with you. I thought the same thing. It totally undermines their argument about the stakes because they're willing to nominate someone who clearly has lost steps, right? Let's see. Chris Murphy, I'm a Democrat, and if Biden doesn't step down, I won't vote this election because it shows how arrogant the Democrats have gotten. Do you think other Democrats feel betrayed? You should if you're a Democrat, because yes, they think you're dumb. They think that what you're seeing is not what you're seeing, right? That the fact that he moves super slowly, he talks super slowly, he speaks, he struggles to get out the right thought. Excuse me. They think all of those things that you're dumb and you shouldn't notice that because really he's not, and it's just a media creation. Man, if I hear that one more time, that the media created this. Use your eyes, people. Just look at Joe Biden. Look, even when he walked out last night, I was like, this is not good, right? He was halting, like gait, looked terrible. When he started to talk and his voice was all hoarse, I mean, like, just use your eyes and your ears. Yes, you should feel betrayed. Absolutely. I don't want to tell you whether you should vote, shouldn't vote, who you should vote for. That's not my thing. But you should be pissed. The real Slim Shady 3000. Do you think Joe Biden is keeping Joe in the race? Seems like Obama wants Joe to step down privately. So I think the only person probably who could go to Joe Biden and say, you got to get out, and he'd listen is Joe Biden. I don't think she's saying that. I think she has been a driving force to get him to run and to sort of propel his candidacy and to beat back voices who are saying, oh, this might not be the best idea. So, yeah, I think she is the voice that matters. Maybe to some extent, Valerie Biden Owens, which is Joe Biden's sister. I think he listens to the two of them the most. Obama, look, Obama endorsed Hillary in 2016 when Biden was a possible candidate, right? I don't know that there's a huge amount of love lost there. I'm sure they have a fine relationship, but Obama's not going to go out and tell Joe Biden to step aside. I just don't think. And even if he did, I'm not sure Biden would listen. Let's see. Phil says third next. A question: how good was that In-N-Out last night after the debate? So I went to In-N-Out Burger after the debate last night. Here's the problem, Phil. There were 21 cars ahead of me in line. 21. And my son was in the car, and it was like 9:30 Pacific, and he has a game today. So I ditched out of that line, and I went somewhere else. But I'm going to get In-N-Out Burger before I leave California, obviously. I'm still here for 2 more days. So I'm actually going to get it. If you have a preferred order, put it in the comment section, because I want to know, because I know there's all these things that are like off the menu that you can order. So tell me what I should order at In-N-Out, because I have not scratched at it yet, but I will. Let's see. Jose de Jesus. Trump strings together his lies so artistically, it's really the only thing he's good at. So interesting point, Jose. I was thinking of this last night. So if you watch the debate last night, Trump says things that are just like not true. We had the greatest economy in history. Immigration was totally under control. They're not true. I mean, they're provably false. But the CNN moderators did not stop him and say that's not true. And most people who are watching this are not me or you, who are super familiar with what Trump is like what's true and what's false. Like they don't have all that context. They just hear it, and he sounds pretty confident saying it, and I think they probably believe it, right? Like if you knew nothing about me and I was like, I'm a well-paid millionaire, you'd be like, I don't know, but like if I said it confidently enough, maybe. Like I was thinking about last night. I was thinking about getting into bars when I was underage at Georgetown. So all of my friends, dude, it's just about confidence. You just got to act like this ID, which looks nothing like you, is in fact you, right? Just give it to them. And I'd be like, hey, man, hey. And I was never good at that because I like freak out under stress like that. Like Trump is really good at that. He just fakes it, man. He's just like, he asserts things that are false like they are true amazingly well. It is remarkable. He would get into bars in college I wouldn't get into. Okay. Maxwell Frazier, if Joe Biden steps aside, will Kamala Harris be the nominee? Maybe have someone else be the presidential nominee and have her be the VP nominee. Yes, I know a lot of people are saying this right now. You know who's not saying that? Kamala Harris. No, there is no chance that if Biden steps aside, she's going to be like, I'm cool being the VP, even though I'm currently the VP and should naturally ascend to that. Look, Democrats, if you want Joe Biden to step aside, I think you need to deal with the reality that there is a very high likelihood, 75, 80%, that Kamala Harris is the 2024 presidential nominee. She is the current vice president. She's an African-American woman. In the Democratic Party, that is huge. I think passing her over for like Gavin Newsom, a white guy from California, I just don't see it happening. I guess it could happen, but I think it's not get rid of Biden and put your ideal person there. It's get rid of Biden, and Kamala Harris is probably that person. So I think you have to get comfortable with that. Michael Gates. So a bunch of anchors and experts on CNN basically came to the conclusion that Biden suffered a huge defeat yesterday, but Trump didn't necessarily win the debate. How come? I think he did win the debate. So CNN did like a snap poll right afterward. I think 67% of people said Biden lost. Trump won, rather. 33% said Biden did. Yeah, I think he did win the debate. Because, look, there's two people on stage, right? So if one guy does really badly and you're not that guy, then you probably win by default. I don't think Trump was amazing at all. He lied all the time. That said, he did not interrupt as much. He was more polite. He tried to be more measured. As measured as he can be. So, no, I think he won. I think Trump lost, but I think Biden, I think Biden lost, but I also think Trump won. Keep the questions coming. Let's see. Just scrolling. Robert in New York says, there were 0 live news conferences. Now you know why. Joke. Yeah. They were hiding him. I've written and said that. They were keeping Biden away from the public eye. He has had very few news conferences. He has done very few interviews with mainstream media organizations. And obviously he hadn't debated. And I think we saw why last night. Now, I think last night was the worst case scenario for Biden. I don't think he can be much worse than that. But man, was that a bad time to be really, really bad? Like in the State of the Union, he was good. He was capable and able, and yes, I know people said like, oh, he's on drugs or whatever. But like, if you watch that and you were an undecided voter and didn't know much about like him other than he was old, you would not think like, oh, this guy can't do the job. Last night, if you're an undecided voter and you watch that, I think you would think this guy can't do the job. Yeah. So yeah. Let's see. Maxwell Feiner, do you think high up Democrats, Obama and Clinton, are trying to get Joe Biden to tell Joe to step aside? I don't think so. First of all, Bill Clinton doesn't have any power. Bill and Hillary Clinton have no power over Joe Biden and Joe Biden. Like, they are not friendly. There's no Obama, maybe, there's a relationship there, obviously, but I just don't think Barack Obama wants to wade into that. I really don't. I don't. I guess maybe he could, right? But I'd be surprised at this point. LA, I have never met anyone who wanted Kamala Harris as a senator, VP, or president. I live in California. No one wants her. She would lose to Trump in a landslide. I don't think she would lose in a landslide, no matter what you think of her, because I just don't think anyone would lose in a landslide to Trump in this current climate. I think there's about 47% of people who will vote against Trump no matter what. I can't imagine him getting more than 51, 52, or even 53% of the popular vote would be stunning. So I don't think she would lose in a landslide. I think there's a debate of whether she's a better nominee at this point than Joe Biden is. Yes, she has a lot of negatives. Yes, I know lots of people don't like her. At the same time, like, she wouldn't have given a debate performance like Joe Biden did last night, right? I mean, she just wouldn't have. So, can you keep on with Biden? To me, the issue is this. It seems to me two things are true that are directly in opposition. One, Democrats can't nominate Biden, right? Given what we saw last night. At the same time, number two, I don't know how Democrats can stop Biden from being nominated unless he drops out, which I don't think is going to happen. So it's like, I know those two things are contradictory, but anyway, okay. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just reading through here. Keep the questions coming, people. AI from Earth, can the Dems do a national primary if Biden steps down? They cannot. Primary season is over. There will be no more primaries. Basically, what happens now is the convention. So there are delegates that have been pledged to Biden. Obviously, if Biden's not the nominee or steps down, then they're free to vote for who they want. But no, there will be no national primary. If there is not let's say Biden steps down, which again, just to be clear, I do not think is going to happen. But let's say he steps down. What would then happen is there would either be a coalescing behind Kamala Harris and say she's our nominee, and they go to the convention and the delegates would vote for her, or there would be multiple candidates: Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer, whoever, and all of them would go to the convention, and the delegates would hash it out until someone got a majority, and then they would be the nominee. Again, as I said earlier in this chat, I don't think Democrats want that to happen because it's too unpredictable, too much drama, too close to the election. But that's what would happen. The voting of the people is over. The only thing that still happens is the voting of the delegates, and there's like 3,500 of them who were elected by the primary voters. But no, there will not be a national primary or anything like that. By the way, keep the questions going. Love it. I'm scrolling through them. Angle 96 says, thank you for the contribution, £5. Love it. Do you remember when the 2016 election was over, when the Hollywood Access Hollywood tape was released? Nothing is over. Fair enough. And I do think it is worthwhile to take a step back and say, we haven't seen any polling from really, other than people think Trump won. We haven't really seen any polling either nationally or in swing states since the debate, because it was last night. And yes, I remember when the Access Hollywood tape came out, everyone assumed the race was over. And that was in October of 2016, not June of 2024. That said, and look, if Biden is the nominee, I still think the race is going to be close. I don't think we're looking at like a 55-45 race or anything for Trump. But man, it's tough to see how Biden bounces back from that. Because if you had an issue about his age, if you had a question, I'm not saying you're a Trump person. If you had a question about his age, you kind of wanted to be for him, you don't want to be for Trump. I don't see how, if you watched any of the debate or saw any of the coverage or watched clips, I don't see how you would think like, okay, I feel good about things now. And I don't know how he erases that impression, because for a lot of people, that's either their first or second impression of him in this race. I just think it's hard. But again, you're right. Sometimes we're too close to the picture. We got to step back a little bit. So let's see in a week or two where we are. But that was a really bad night. Okay, let me see. I'm just scrolling here. I want to try to get to as many questions as I can. Tons coming in. Thank you. Oh, boy. Sorry, I'm trying to scroll up to where I was. Meteor Mechanic, thank you for the donation. Could you list out the hypothetical pathway for Newsom to get in the race? Maybe enumerate some of the challenges to that. Sure. I mean, the biggest challenge is Joe Biden is the president of the United States and is the default Democratic nominee right now. So unless and until someone gets Joe Biden out of the race, there's no one who else is going to get in. I saw Gavin Newsom interviewed last night. He was in the spin room, and he basically said, like, Biden's our nominee. He's our guy. We believe in him, which is the only thing he can say. He's not going to be like, man, that was bad. They should nominate me. So the way that Newsom winds up as the nominee is he Biden drops out and sort of there's a coalescing behind him, or he wins it at a convention, as I just said. The challenges to that, he's from California, which is good if you're in a Democratic primary, but not as great in a general election just because you can be labeled a sort of liberal West Coast elitist. He's a white guy in a party that is increasingly not dominated by white guys. He's got a little bit of a personal history. Of course, maybe that doesn't matter because he's running against Trump, who has a lot of personal history. And Kamala Harris. Like, Kamala Harris is the big impediment to Newsom. Not just because they're both from California, but because she's a black woman who is the vice president of the United States in a Democratic party. I just think she's the likeliest nominee. I hope that makes sense. Let's see. Sorry, JCSD says, Chris, you need to chill. Fair enough. I can't say you're wrong about that. Harvey Rabbit says, I've been like that with a cold. If they gave him a decongestant, that stuff can screw with your head. I mean, I guess, but man, why would you do that? Just don't give him anything and let him soldier through, or just say he's sick and he needs to do the debate another time. I don't know. I don't know. Mark Ford, I woke up this morning scared, upset, and troubled. J-Rock 808, I'm furious that the Democrats rested on laurels and weren't in front of this months ago. I totally agree. Matt Jacobson, Gavin Newsom is a corrupt disaster. The smallest scrutiny of his record would cripple his chances. Maybe. Let's see. Avery Neal, I woke up thinking Portugal is too hilly, maybe Spain. I see what you did there. Portugal is beautiful. Jeff Hawkins, if somebody makes good choices, does good things, yet has a weak handshake, is that then appropriate to judge them for the latter? Well, I don't think it was just appearances, which were bad for Biden. I don't think it was just appearances. I really struggled with some of his answers to understand what he was saying. Like, after the first break, they asked him a question about black unemployment, and his answer was not good. It was all over the place. It didn't make sense. So if he's like that in a debate, it's hard for me to believe he's like super on it and on top of everything behind closed doors. Like, yes, he's probably better if he doesn't have a cold, if he's not like nervous and stressed out about the debate and doing well. But like, he was so bad that better than that is not good, right? And again, we're not just talking about Joe Biden now. We're talking about Joe Biden in 4 years. He's running for a second term. So if he's like that now, what's it going to be like in 3 years? So, yeah. Okay, keep going. Michael Ruther, I was on the fence about voting for Joe, and this debate makes me not want to vote for any of them. I would only vote for Gavin Newsom, AOC, or the VP as my last pick. Yeah, well, you may get a chance to vote for the VP, though I don't think so, but maybe. Atraverse Salmo 123. Do you think if Biden performed well in the next debate, will it make a difference? I don't know if there is a next debate. So I know there is one scheduled September 10th. I get it. I don't know if it happens. So I was trying to think this out. So if I'm the Biden people, on the one hand, how can you roll them back out there again after what happened last night, right? Like, how can you risk that? Because, I mean, if it happened again, I mean, it's over. At the same time, can he not do the debate? Because then it looks like you're dodging it, right? Like, because he's too old and because he did bad in the first one. Like, it's a real lose-lose. On the other hand, if you're Trump, like, that debate was incredible for you, right? I mean, it proved exactly what you had been saying all along. Joe Biden's too old. He doesn't get it. He's run by other people. He can't do the job, right? So you would think he'd want 100 more debates if he could debate every night. On the other hand, it's hard for me to believe that Biden could be as bad as he was last night again. I mean, maybe he could be, but again. And so if you're Trump, do you just want to kind of take your win and go home, right? Or do you want to double down? So I don't know the answer to that. I've always said on this and in my Substack newsletter and everywhere else that I thought the second debate was wholly dependent on what happened in the first one. I never thought that the first debate would go the way it did. I thought Trump might win it, but I didn't think Biden would lose as bad as he did. So who knows? Let me take a minute to say a couple things. One, if you've not liked this chat, do it. If you've not commented on this chat, do it. If you're not subscribed to my channel, come on, man, do it. And if you want more stuff like this, I write a daily politics newsletter. It would mean a ton for me to have your support. It's $6 a month. It's every single day. It's on Substack. Just type Substack and Chris Cillizza. It'll get emailed to you. So check it out. And if you want to donate in here, I'd love to have you too. I'm living on these coffees right now. I gotta be honest, this McDonald's iced coffee is pretty good. Avery Neal, how many coffees have you had this morning? This is number 2. So I had one at like 6 a.m. Pacific, and now this one. So it's 10:30 here in the morning. So I'm doing fine. Doogster, Biden needs to step down. Enough is enough. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way. Again, you can't just make it happen, right? He has to decide or be convinced of this fact, right? Wanting it to happen doesn't really matter. It's really one person's opinion. Josh B., we've been saying debates won't change anyone's mind. People who wanted Biden will still vote Biden, and Trump voters for Trump. Do you think the debate changed this? I think it could have. In that, I think you're right. Most people who watch the debate are hardcore one way or the other, and they're going to be that way no matter what. I've gotten a lot of email and texts and messages from people over the last 12 hours saying, like, look, Biden was bad, but I'm not voting for Trump, like under any circumstances. So I'm still for Biden. So I think those people are there. The issue for Biden is if you're an undecided voter who caught any of the debate or saw the coverage, it's terrible, right? The coverage is like, he was bad, he looked old, he looked out of it, they need to replace him. And so that small group of people like are going to be influenced by that sort of thing. And I think that's what I would worry about if I was Biden. But you're right. Most of the partisans, I think, will stay put. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just going through. Richard Fitzpatrick, having an open convention will be great TV. The whole country and world will be watching. Hours of free coverage for our message. The people will love Gretchen Whitmer, and she'll be our next president. I mean, that's one view. I like you taking the positive view for Democrats there, I guess. Yeah, I mean, sure, that would get a lot of attention. Depends how that process works. If the party was sort of riven, if Gretchen Whitmer beat Kamala Harris in the African-American community, who was very unhappy that Kamala Harris had been passed over, I don't know that would be great TV. So we'll see. Fire on Ice 233. Dems seem selfish. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, by not getting out at the right time, is what's creating, I can't read that word, like Trump and all his criminals. I think you got to know when to fold them, and look, I get it. I'm 48. I hope to be 81 at some point in my life. And I think it will be really hard for me to accept that, like, it's time for me to step off. If I'm 81 and doing YouTube streams, I don't know what to think. My kids will probably have put me in a home by then. But yeah, it's hard. Look, it's hard to know when enough is enough, right? I mentioned this somewhere. It's like when older folks want to keep driving when they really shouldn't be driving, because it's freedom, because it's, they don't want to admit to themselves really that the time has come where they can't do that anymore. I get it. Sam Power, the moment he opened his mouth, my heart sank. I thought the same thing. I would say even before that, when Biden walked on stage, he looked bad. His color was bad. The makeup was not good. His walk was not good. It was bad. Let's see. Mark Parkinson, Biden is the Ruth Bader Ginsburg of the executive branch. I've definitely heard that before. XOXO Bob, CNN's moderation was abysmal. So, do I wish they had done a little bit more fact checking of Trump? Sure, I do. I think it's hard, but I think it is worth at least sometimes saying, like, that's actually not true, Mr. President. Your economy was not the greatest of all time. Here's a stat that suggests that. And then you move on, right? You don't linger, but you move on. They didn't do that. But that is not why the debate was the debate that it was. It's just not. The moderators had zero to do with Joe Biden being as bad as he was. They didn't. He was over-prepared. He had too many facts in his head that he was trying to get out. He looked bad and old. That had nothing to do with Jake Tapper or Dana Bash. And by the way, it wasn't their decision to not do live fact-checking. That decision probably higher up the food chain, if my experience is indicative of anything. So, you can blame them, I guess, but that's not why Biden lost the debate. He lost the debate because he should not have been out there. You snooze, you news. Chris, you got some shaving cream on your jaw. Your right, our left. I don't think it was shaving cream. I think it was just got fuzzy. It might have been from my Sasha's McMuffin with egg. I think I got it. Atraversano 123. There's no personal incentive for Obama to ask Biden to step aside. Yes, that's totally true. Carl Creighton, any alternative but the current VP would be a huge risk. I agree. Let's see. Taka Boom, I want Al Gore to step up. Okay. Davey Turp, who's winning the Euros? Give me France. I know they haven't been great, but give me France. LA says double animal style with animal style fries. That's in relation to my In-N-Out order request. Okay, a double animal style with animal style fries. What the heck is animal style? Hi, H says, is there anything positive to take for Biden from last night? No, there is not. That was really bad. Really bad. There's nothing. I mean, he didn't fall over. I guess that's like a good thing that you could take, but no, there was nothing good. Felix says 2 doubles and animal fries. Okay, so clearly I need to get at least, I don't know if I should eat 2 doubles, man. That's 4 hamburgers. Okay, and you need to tell me what animal style is. All these people are recommending animal style. Josh, do you think big donors have more power over if Joe runs, and can they influence if he drops out? Yeah. So I said right at the start of this, and I know a lot of people didn't hear it. Right at the start, I said the 2 things to watch for are major donors and major prominent Democratic elected officials. If you see big donors coming out and saying like he can't be the nominee, that's worrisome, right? Because it speaks to a broader concern in the donor community, and you can't win without money. If you see prominent Democratic elected officials, that's been vetted, right? They're not just going to go out and wing it. Like they've thought about it, they've talked to Biden, and they really think they have to do it. So those are the 2 things to look for. Let's see. Double. John Luna says double with grilled onions, animal style fries, and root beer or lemonade. My God, that sounds good. Joseph, he was prepping at Camp David all week. How did they not know this would go badly and find a way to stop the debate? I totally agree. I was talking to my wife last night. She was like, if he was sick, they should have paused it. They had to find some way. So I think the reason for it is that they knew they had been hiding him. They knew that they had to do, I mean, I've talked about this. They had to do this debate because otherwise it would look like they're afraid of what he would look like. The problem was he was so bad that they might have been better off not doing the debate and just taking the flack for not doing the debate, right? And just letting people assume, oh, he's probably okay. Or some people assuming, oh, he might not be good. But seeing it, hearing it, really bad. Is Am there? Refused to sit in drive-thrus with more than 5 cars. Yeah, it had 20 cars in it. 20. And it was like 10 o'clock at night. I can't do that. Brendan F. When will these high-ranking Democrats have a come to Jesus moment with Biden and force him out? The writing is on the wall. I don't think they're going to force him out. I mean, they might. I don't think they will. Everything I've seen is they're lining up behind him right now. Wait for polling. If polling comes out that shows the race changing, Trump ahead by 5, 6, 7, 8 points, then maybe you'll see it. If donors start pulling out, then maybe you'll see it, but not yet. Let's see. Could Hunter get him to step down? Matt Jacobson, maybe. I think his family are the only ones who could, but I don't think Hunter would. I think they view this as a crusade against Donald Trump and everything Donald Trump represents. And I just don't think they're going to do that. G says it's time to make Sherrod Brown president and Stacey Abrams VP. That's not going to happen. Mo Coffee, the guy who can't control himself from sucking on a straw while hosting is qualifying what's successful communication. Yeah, I mean, I'm not in a presidential debate, nor am I on TV. I kind of like the authenticity of like, we're in my hotel room. There's my kid's crap right back there. That's his suitcase with all his crap in it. There's different formats for different things. Like I did MSNBC this morning. I didn't drink from my coffee. Anyway. Meteor Mechanic, what is the argument for it being too late to switch? Expanding on my last question. There's no argument for it's not too late to switch. Like until the convention picks a nominee, it's not too late to switch. It's just that I don't know if they can usher Biden off the stage. I just don't know if they can do that. It's not too late. It starts to get too late if he becomes the nominee officially after the convention. It's really hard then. It's not as hard right now, but still, hey, by the way, we've had like 500 or 600 people on this. This is terrific. I love it. Justin Zach says Kamala is mediocre at best. Carl Creighton, who should be Kamala's VP? Good question. Holy cow. The battle for that will be Incredible. John C. Alan Lichtman thinks the debate has no impact on his keys and the outcome of the election. Agree or disagree? Look, Alan Lichtman, the professor's got 9 of the last 10 elections right. That's fine. I know he doesn't operate in the kind of like up and down world of politics. He's much more about long-term trends. Everyone is entitled to their view. I do not have a monopoly on right or good ideas. I try to give you my transparent, authentic takes on things based on the time I've spent doing this. But that is by no means definitive. Let's see. Scrolling through. G says Newsom is a right-wing pinata. Sherrod Brown is not. Sherrod Brown is not going to be the nominee. Sherrod Brown is running for re-election. Let's see. Any chance, Craig Skeptic, any chance Dems would pull Hillary in? I can't believe it took this long for a Hillary question. No, there is no chance Hillary Clinton will be the nominee. None. They will not go back down that road. No way. If they did, it would be a massive, massive problem. A dumb move. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to give people who have not asked questions. So I'm just trying to find people. G said if Biden was fighting cold, they should have canceled. I agree. Just reschedule it, right? It can be rescheduled, right? Trump would lambast him and said he's dodging the debate and all that sort of stuff, but it's got to be better than what we saw last night, right? Justin Zach said Harris is a terrible public speaker. Okay. J-Rock 808, Biden won on substance, but we're in a post-truth world. I don't know about that. Winning on substance. I did not think Biden was very good on substance. You're right. I mean, so much of what Trump said is just not true, right? I mean, that's the thing. So it's like, what substance was there? But why did Biden not talk more about abortion? Like in his closing statement, he didn't mention it at all. Why did he not talk more about Trump's felony convictions? He mentioned it one time. Like, what are we doing? Driggs, do you think it's a done deal for Biden if he stays in? No, it's not a done deal. I think he has less of a chance of winning today than he did yesterday, but I don't think it's a done deal because I think elections are close in this country and there are months to go before the election. And, if Democrats decide, okay, this is our best option and they go with it, then they go with it. Mop up. Biden has been seduced by the power and perks of being president of the United States. He's never given up. Dr. Jill has a 50% chance of getting him to step down. I don't think Joe why he's running. And yes, I agree. Being president of the United States is hugely appealing and alluring, and no one, not Donald Trump, not Joe Biden, not anybody since George Washington has voluntarily given it up. Kennedy I says, I think Biden is done. Trump just won the presidency. I don't know that that's true because I think we got a long way to go. And I think we're too close to the picture. Like when this just happened, it was bad for Democrats, really bad, but it just happened. So I think let's see what the polling shows. Let's just wait and see a little bit. Let's see. Davey Man, most incumbent presidents struggle in the first debate and lose in the polls, but by the second debate, they recover. For instance, Obama lost in the polls, but still want to get reelected. Yes, true. But I did talk about this earlier and I'll reiterate it. This was not Obama versus Romney in 2012, nor was it Bush versus Kerry in 2004 in the first debate. I watched both of those. Bush in 2004 and Obama in 2012 were rusty. They didn't really like being questioned because they weren't used to it because they had been president for 4 years, but they were nowhere near as bad as Joe Biden was last night. And nor did they have the age issue to deal with, right? He has the age issue and he just compounded it. So no, I don't think this was not Joe Biden being rusty. This was Joe Biden being too old, right? Pat Westrop, it's unfair to compare a debate to State of the Union. Anyone can read a prepared speech. I agree. It's not the same thing, right? The State of the Union, I thought he was fine, but he's reading off of a teleprompter, right? He's practiced it a bunch of times. He knows what's coming. There's no X factors in there, right? He reads the speech. He says, thank you. He leaves. In a debate, you don't know the questions. You don't know what Trump's going to say. You don't know what you need to say. You don't know how to respond back and forth. It is a totally different thing. It's a really, really good point. Let's see. Harris Buttigieg 2024. That could happen. Let's see. Avery Neal, how are you enjoying California? Are you ready to move? Man, it's beautiful out here. Yet another day in San Diego where it's between 75 and 80 and perfectly sunny. So yeah, really nice. Christopher E. What do you think the best case scenario is for Democrats going into November? Same question for Republicans. I mean, best case scenario is Biden wins the White House, Democrats hold on to the Senate, Democrats win the House. Reverse for Republicans. Trump wins, Republicans take the Senate majority, and they hold on to the House. will either of those happen? I don't know. I still think you're probably better betting on divided government of some sort. One party controls the White House and maybe one chamber of the House or Senate, and the other controls the other. So I don't know. I think it is more likely that Republicans control all three of those levers of governmental power than Democrats do. But I don't know that either of those scenarios happens. Let's see. Winston's mom. Hello. Do you think the mute button helped or hurt Mr. Trump? And becomes mom's gonna mom. Everyone, please hit the like button. Thanks. Yes, please, everyone, hit the like button. Thank you, Winston's mom. I thought the mute button would be a bigger problem for Trump, but it wound up being a bigger problem for Biden. Trump kept his answers kind of short. Biden kept at the when he ran out of his 2 minutes in his answer, and Dana or Jake would say, "Okay, thank you, Mr. President," he would just stop talking, which is weird. Like, just keep talking, make them mute you. So the fear of the mute button, I think, impacted Biden more than Trump, which is totally, totally weird to me. Let's see. Don't support rats. Look, the primaries are mostly done. There is no replacing either candidate. Again, you could replace either candidate before the convention. It is not easy, but you could do it. Let's see. What about Cory Booker? Possible, but again, I just think you got to deal with the fact that it's probably going to be Kamala Harris if it's not Biden. Biden's North Carolina, this is Drunken Monkey. Biden's North Carolina rally went really well. I thought it just finished up. I thought it just finished up. Okay. But again, controlled environment, not a debate setting, and did not have 60 or 70 million people watching it. That to me is the issue. There's just too many people watching it to be that bad. Like, he can't be that bad when you have that many people watching. All right, let me scroll up. Keep your In-N-Out burger orders coming, because I want to make sure I know. Mark Parkinson, thank you for your donation. What if Biden just resigns? Kamala becomes president, the convention still becomes open, and Biden's legacy would be to be instrumental in both the first black president and the first woman president. Again, the issue is Joe Biden likes being president of the United States. I just don't think he's going to resign. You're right, though, Mark. I think out of all the scenarios we've talked about, that might be the smartest one. Make Harris president now, so she's the incumbent. There probably wouldn't be a floor fight then at the convention, right? Because she's the president of the United States. I just don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, you're not wrong. H says, thanks for doing the live stream. I'm always happy to do it. Razor X999, thank you for the donation. Much evidence of his mental decline the last 2 years, particularly the last 6 months. How did the media not know this could happen in the debate? Tell us the truth slowly so it wasn't a shock. I think so. I mean, look at the Wall Street Journal piece about Biden slipping behind closed doors. Axios has written about it. I've written about it. Lots of people have written about it. Did I think he could be this as bad as he was last night? No, I didn't. I thought he would sort of rally to be okay at worst, but he couldn't. He didn't have it in him. Now you could say, well, that was a one-off. It was one night. He's good. He was good at this North Carolina rally. You could say lots of things, but he didn't have, when the lights went on, when 70-ish million, I don't know what the numbers are, but when however many million people were watching, he didn't have it in him. He was bad. Let's see. Willie Pete says, this will be forgotten when Trump is sentenced in 2 weeks. I don't think that's true. Sam, thank you for the donation. Sam, you've been a machine with all your debate coverage. It's much appreciated. Enjoy the In-N-Out. Thank you, my friend. It's been a lot, but I appreciate it. Thank you for the donation. By the way, happy to take all donations to fund my In-N-Out eating. And if you have not subscribed to my newsletter, go do it. You can do it for free if you want. That's fine. A lot of the content's free. If you want to support me and what I'm trying to build, go be a paid subscriber. It's $6 a month. I'd love to have you. Sam says, animal style sounds like a long night on the toilet. That's true. Let's see. Bob Smith, it's not too late for Biden to drop out. That would throw open the convention and be a mess, but that is the best option. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I'm open to that idea, given what we saw last night. Razor X999. It's quite apparent that Joe's family is willing to sacrifice him personally for the greater good. Yeah, crazy. I can't, they had to know he could have been this bad, right? That was obviously a potential thing, and they still did it. H says, when you do MSNBC, can you post that video? Yes, I can. So I'm waiting for them to send me the video. I did it this morning. So I'm waiting for them to send me the video. When I get it, I will absolutely post it. Alan McCone, even if they could usher Biden off, who is popular enough to beat Trump? Yeah, I mean, that's a real thing. I don't know if Harris is. I don't know if Gavin Newsom is. I don't think most people know Gretchen Whitmer outside of the Midwest and Michigan. So I don't know. It would be a risk without question. But nominating Biden, as we saw last night, is clearly a risk, right? Let's see. Caboclo, they need to usher him off the stage. Can they not threaten the 25th Amendment? I don't think they're going to do that. I just don't. This is a guy who's been in the party for 50 years. I don't think they're going to push him out saying he's not capable of the office. Mr. Do, shut up, Chaliza. Good comment. KR says, Alan Lichtman's medal will not hold up here since there hasn't been a similar situation in his data set. Kind of true. We never had someone, the sitting president of the United States and a major party presidential nominee be as bad as Joe Biden was last night in front of a crowd that size and with stakes that high. Yeah. Nope. Sorry, just scrolling. Richard Fitzpatrick, this is the time for Hunter to salvage his reputation by convincing his father to preserve his legacy and step aside. Maybe. Let's see. Bad juju. I'd vote for an empty chair over Trump, but I'm not the voter Biden needed to convince last night. That's exactly right. Well said. Yes. There are absolutely lots and lots and lots and lots of people who are Democrats who are like, I don't care who the Democratic nominee is. I don't care that Biden looked old. I'm not voting for Trump. So those people are not going to change their mind. To me, it's those small undecideds, but that's a really good point. Craig Brown, given what we know about Trump's MO, why did CNN choose to dispense with fact checking? I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, I think they thought it might derail the debate and they wanted to get to a bunch of issues and they didn't want it just to become a fact check Donald Trump with the moderators playing a huge role as opposed to sort of leaving it to Biden and Trump. But again, that's a bigger deal to me if Biden wasn't as bad as he was, right? Like, I think we would be talking a lot more about their approach or lack thereof to fact checking in that debate if Biden wasn't as bad as he was. And he was so bad that, in my mind, it way overshadows the moderators in the debate. MK says Newsom is probably the most ready candidate in a crisis. Yeah, I mean, he has been the governor of California. Quantum of Zen. Biden has a 2 to 4 week grace period to pivot. Need to strategize and make a decision before the convention. Yeah, I'm not sure he has 2 to 4 weeks to do that, but yes. Let's see. Don't support Rat says, I am not a Dem. I'm voting for Biden. I can't stand Trump's lies. Okay. Sun Moon. Why did Biden's team encourage him to call for this early debate? Because I think they felt like they had to. I think they felt like the age thing was not going away. It was not getting better. They couldn't just ignore it. They had to directly confront it. The problem is they expected him to be at least decent in the debate, and he wasn't, right? That's the issue. So I think they felt like they had to do it. And they wanted to do it early to get going into the summer to get this narrative of he's too old, he's incompetent off the plate. Unfortunately, the exact opposite is what wound up happening, which is now you're going to have these summer months where people pay less attention to politics, where the lingering thought about Joe Biden is he's too old and he can't do the job. Christopher E., I feel like putting in any 50-year-old Democratic candidate would go better than the Biden situation right now. Do you agree? Sort of. Yeah. I just don't think the age thing's going to get better after this. Like, there were questions about his age before. A majority of the public thought he was too old to be president, including a close to a majority of Democrats. Like, after last night, how does that number not go up? Right? And how does Biden solve that problem? He can't just get younger. He can't look younger. He can't sound younger, right? So how does he solve that problem? I don't know. Let's see. Jeff Russell, if Biden actually did step aside, how chaotic would the Dems become trying to find a candidate? I think that's the question. I think there would be an attempt to just make Kamala Harris the nominee. I don't know if other ambitious Democrats would go along with that. They might, but I'm not sure if they would. If they did, then it wouldn't be that chaotic, right? She would just step in and that would be that. But it's possible they wouldn't because, look, the presidency doesn't come open all that often, right? Particularly all you have to do is win over delegates. You don't have to campaign. You just have to win over 3,500 delegates as opposed to campaigning for 2 years and raising all this money and going to Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina. It's a unique opportunity. So I don't know if people would just kind of let it pass. Let's see. Kennedy Ivy, I think the moderating was perfect. Okay. You're in San Diego. Don't forget the fish tacos. Go to Fish Guts. Okay, I can do that. We've got some time to write that down. By the way, if you have other things, the recommendations, put them in there for me to eat or get coffee at. I don't want to go to McDonald's. It was just close, and I had to do this chat. Jenna C says, I'm voting against Project 2025. The choice is easy. I understand that view. Hashim V, his surrogates have to take that med cocktails they were giving Trump and start pounding in Biden's achievements till kingdom come. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to fix things. John Carroll, the limited amount I watched last night was abysmal, but watching edited clips today is a lot better. In the generation of TikTok and YouTube shorts, may go a long way to fixing the problem. I don't think you can fix that problem. I mean, I just don't. There were a few moments where Biden was okay, but not many. So I don't know. Dean Phillips, 2024. Man, Dean Phillips looks a lot smarter today, right? Remember Dean Phillips, a Minnesota congressman? He was roundly excoriated by Democrats for questioning that Joe Biden was too old and that they were taking a risk on nominating him. Kind of sounds right. LA, Nico's and get a California burrito. Sada, guac, salsa, fries. It's amazing. Okay, I got it. Crystal Williamson, wow, is this your longest live stream yet, Chris? Yes, it is. I'm going to go an hour. He's going to go an hour. So I got about 4 more minutes left. So I'm trying to fit this in. Reed Pinchback, if Michelle could be talked into it, an Obama-Harris ticket could turn this around. Agree. But Michelle Obama's not going to run. And I don't think that Kamala Harris would take a back seat as the VP to Michelle Obama, who's never run for office before. I just would be surprised. But yes, that would be a compelling ticket. Eric Z, there were ways of escaping the debate, like I will not debate a felon, but they chose to debate. Yes, they did. You're right. They could have said that. And Biden would have taken, to be clear, Biden would have taken some flack for dodging the debate. He absolutely would have. He's too old, but I don't think it would have been as bad as what we saw last night. Like he would have gotten some bad press for like big hiding from Trump and all that stuff, but I don't think it would have been as bad as it was last night. I don't think not debating could have possibly been as bad as him debating. Jose de Jesus, Michelle Obama, and Oprah. Yeah, again, not going to happen, but I get it. Replace him, Jon Stewart, 2024. Tom Hanks should run. Harris Duckworth, 2024, or Asteroid, 2024. Thomas Kane, Chris, you have shorts on right now, don't you? Jeans, baby. I have the same outfit on that I wore last night, people. I'm not lying. I had a different coat. I have this. Here, I'll show you the coat I have. I think it's a pretty cool coat. Here's my coat. It's very summery, right? Like it feels very San Diego. Kind of matches the glasses. This is the coat I wore on TV this morning. So, but I do have pants on. I even have shoes on. Yeah. Paul Brian Bell says Nico's is best in town. Okay, I will go to Nico's. Let's see. Dylan Burns, how does he go from last night to today at his rally? He is like a different person. Yeah. Here's the problem. That's like me saying like, man, when I play basketball by myself, I'm like Michael Jordan. I never miss a shot. And then I go play pickup basketball with people, or I play basketball on TV and I'm horrendous. Like, great that you're good when there's like a small number of people watching or no one watching. Not good that you're terrible when there's a huge number of people watching, right? CK Piano says San Diego recommendation, Pacific Beach Fish Shop. Okay, I got it. Let's see. Jeff Russell, Biden has to know he hurt himself last night. I wonder if he has a firm grip on the reality that he'll need to step aside. I doubt he does. Remember, he's still surrounded by people who are like, hey, you were fine. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Because that's who surrounds these people. The question is whether there's like a come to Jesus moment. And I don't know if there will be. Sam, Chris, what is your golf handicap? Could you beat Biden and Trump? No, that was the dumbest debate last night. Two old guys debating about carrying their bag and what their handicap is. My handicap is like 50. I'm horrendous at golf. let's see. Sean McCarthy, I'm 27 and have only been able to vote in 3 presidential elections, and the choices each time have been very lackluster. Yeah, it has not been great. The Goisy 6, put in Roy Cooper 2024, the governor of North Carolina. It'd be interesting. Won't happen. Is Am there? Are you stupid or something? Great question. I ask myself that every day. Okay, I got 1 minute left. I'm just trying to scroll through. Thank you, everyone, for the donations. You rock. I really appreciate it. It fuels me to keep doing what I'm doing. And thank you for so many people being on this. And if you have not checked out my Substack, go check out my Substack. Subscribe to this channel if you can. Well, you can, so subscribe to this channel. You snooze, you lose. El Paisa is the best Mexican food in San Diego. Okay, I got it. So I'm doing a double animal style with animal style fries, right? That's my plan at In-N-Out. And then I'm going to take these other recommendations and run with them. Let's see. Brother Los, why do the Dems have such denial about what happened? Because I think that they've spent so long being told and believing that Biden is totally fine and that this age thing is just a media creation. It's all BS. That's why. And now it's been exposed that it's not a media creation. He is, in fact, old. He has, in fact, lost several steps. So I think that's why it's hard. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go. I'm going to be writing this afternoon, for really the morning for me, for my newsletter. This is the biggest one we've ever had of these. It makes me so happy that people are into this. Please keep pushing the channel out to people you know. Please keep subscribing. I will do everything that I can to bring you the latest and greatest. And again, like I said before, just my thoughts, informed opinion, but just my thoughts, and not a monopoly on the right ideas. Just thinking of trying to go through what I think and why I think it. So thank you. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. Thank you, Sam. I am rewatching Friday Night Lights, best show of all time. All right. I'm going to go and write. Everyone take care. Thank you all for following. Thank you for the donations. Go check out my Substack. I'm going to be doing a bunch more there. Man, this has been a week. I may make a video tomorrow, depending on how things sort out with Biden. So stay tuned for that. Double thumbs up. Everybody take care. Be well.